It's been a while. If you're new, hi, my name is Tiffany and welcome to my channel where I bake and talk about movies at the same time. These are movies that I grew up watching and I've been rewatching them lately and the perspectives have changed. So let's get into today's movie. It's spooky season. I compiled a list of movies that gave me the shiver me timbers when I was a kid, and I'm gonna try to do all of them. I probably won't though, just letting y'all know, but I am gonna try. But let's go ahead and get into today's movie. Today's movie is actually my all-time favorite, and I know you guys are gonna be like, she says that about every movie, but actually what I say is these movies are one of my favorites. You know what I'm saying? But this movie is my all-time favorite collectively. Glenn Close, Michael Douglas, Fatal Attraction. Honestly, I don't know why I love this movie so much, but what I do know is I can watch it over and over and over and over again. Each time I watch it, I learn something new. I tried to get into the Fatal Attraction series on Paramount, but it just wasn't tickling my fancy for real. Like, if you're gonna go for a classic, you got to come with it, and it doesn't for me. I don't know. What do you guys think? Can we also talk about how Michael Douglas has not changed his hair since, I don't know, I was alive? He's always had this hair. It just trips me out. He saw this hairstyle and was like, this is it for all of eternity. When I first saw this movie, I thought Alex was bat crazy, right? Like, homegirl was bugging. But now, I don't know. Like, I just feel like she kind of had some points. The movie is set in the 80s in New York. Dan Gallagher, where's my measuring egg? Dan Gallagher, his wife and his coworker slash friend are about to go to a party, launching of some self-help book. And this is where he meets Alex Forrest. His homeboy was actually trying to get up on Alex first, but she wasn't having it. So Dan goes to the bar and Alex is there. They have a little interaction. You can see that they got some flirtation going on. In my opinion, Alex was definitely the one who initiated So it's the next day. Dan's wife Beth and their little daughter Ellen are about to go to the country. And by country, I mean, like, I don't know, upstate New York? What is that? I don't know what upstate New York means. I always feel like upstate New York is the suburbs. I don't fucking know. Anyways, they're planning to buy a house out there. And so that's why they're going up there. Well, that's why she's going up there. Dan can't go because he has a work meeting. So he's left alone. The meeting is about his client and some sexual relationship with an author. And this is how he meets Alex again, okay? So after the meeting, Alex and Dan go get a drink together, right? And this is where the affair starts to take head, okay? She's asking him questions like, are you discreet? Are you discreet? Oh, you know, that depends on you. You know what I'm saying? If you're down with it, I'm down too. Eventually, they agree to leave there and go fuck. And that's exactly what they do. In the movie, it made it seem like they was fucking all night too. They're bumping uglies, what it seems like for a hot ass minute. And then she's like, hey, you feeling energetic? So then they go to some salsa club, come back, and they fuck again. It's finally morning time and Dan has to go home. He has a whole ass dog at home, right? Dog needs to be let out and fed. So he kind of sneaks out without telling her as she's like sleeping, right? So he gets back to his house. He noticed that he has a missed call. It's his wife. This is back in the 80s, so caller ID, no. Also, voicemail, no. They had an answering machine. He checks the answering machine, and of course, she's left him a message. Hey, where you at? He calls her back and obviously lies, right? Lets him know, hey, I was with my friends the other night. Yeah, that's all they did. I was with my homeboy last night. So as he's talking to his wife, she lets him know, hey, we're not going to be able to get in to see the house until tomorrow. I'm not up to beating the traffic, the New York traffic during rush hour, right? So that leaves him alone again for another night. And as soon as he gets off the phone, Alex is on call waiting, okay? She's like, hey, what you doing? Let's get together. He's kind of trying to wing her off, like, you know, I have this to do. I have to take the dog out. I have so much work. And she's like, hey, don't worry about it. I can cook for you. Come, bring the dog with you. I love dogs. She's really trying to see him again. So he eventually is like, you know what? Okay, cool. I'll come over. So he goes over there. He takes the dog with him and they go running in the park. She eventually makes him dinner. They're having wine. And this is what I don't get. If you know you don't want to be with this woman, why are you doing couple shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what couples do. Couples go frolicking in the park with their dogs. Not sneaky links. Whilst he's over her house again, because they're about to have dinner, he's sharing intimate details about his childhood. And of course, she's taking it all in, right? So as they're sitting down and eating, Alex wants to know more about him. It's how long he's been married and if he has kids. Dan slips up, you know, while he's telling her this, Dan slips up and says, you know, he's happy. He's a lucky guy. He's like, well, if you're so lucky, why are you with me? You know what I'm saying, what you doing here? So now Alex wants to know, well, if he's so lucky, he's happy, why is he here with me? And she asks him that. He never answers the question, honestly, and I think that's bullshit. I want to go back to the beginning of the movie because I feel like this is a crucial part as to why he never answers the question. Because this isn't the first time she asks him, if he's so happy, then why are you with me, right? So I want to go back to the beginning of the movie. When him and his wife, Beth, come back from the party, he has to walk the dog. When he comes back from walking the dog, you can tell he was expecting to get some coochie. Didn't happen. He comes back in the room and he notices that his daughter is sleeping where he should be sleeping. And his wife's like, hey, you know, it's just for one night. And you can tell like he's just disappointed, right? So I'm thinking maybe that's why he slipped out on his wife. Because he's low-key unhappy and he's not being satisfied. That doesn't make it right though. They finish dinner, have sex one more last time, and eventually he has to get going. So as Dan is getting dressed to leave, Alex is like, well, hey, you know, where you going? And he's letting her know, like, you know, I gotta get back. Like, you know, I gotta straighten up before my wife gets back, right? And she's like, well, I thought she wasn't coming back until tomorrow. He's like, well, you know, yeah, but I still have to go. And this is where shit gets crazy, right? She's like, you know, I don't think I like this. He's like, what do you mean? She tells him, you leave after every time we make love. Pause. Make love? He should have corrected her for the make love comment, but he didn't. Okay? He didn't. So let's move on. She's getting upset and now he wants to get all buck, right? Now he wants to play the victim. Like, hey, you knew what it was. You knew I was married. If I gotta go, I gotta go. She's like, well, you're not gonna leave. And he lets her know, like, hey, we saw the opportunity and we took it. They have this massive argument and he eventually tells her to fuck off. And she tells him to get out. So as he's about to leave, she's like, you know, hey, come over here, you know, give me a hug. I really don't want to end things on bad terms. As they're hugging, right, she starts crying. She's distraught that he's leaving. She's crying. She's kissing all over him. He notices her hands are wet. He looks down. Homegirl has slit all of her wrists. He panics and gets something to stop the bleeding. He also stays that night. So boom. He stayed the extra night. It's morning time. He's about to leave. Before he leaves, she says to him, and I quote, will you call me sometime? You don't have to if you don't want to, Before she can even get out the if you don't want to, he's already said, no, I want to. I want to call you. Then he, in return, he's like, well, can you do me a favor? Make sure you go see the doctor, right? Because she slit her fucking wrist. Again, if this is supposed to be your sneaky link, okay, your one-off, why you just didn't tell her right then, bro? Why you just didn't tell her right then, hey, this is too heavy. You out here slitting your wrist and shit. I can't do this. I can't do this. This isn't for me. So he goes back home and things are normal for a hot minute until he goes into work one day and sees Alex there. Shit. She wants to thank him for looking after her, she could have ended her life right there. As a peace offering, she has 2 tickets to Madame Butterfly, which is his favorite opera. But of course, he turns it down. And this is where shit gets crazy. Alex now realizes that Dan really doesn't want anything to do with her, which fuels her crazy, okay? Because after he told her, nah, I'm good on that Madame Butterfly shit, homegirl loses it. 100% loses it. She was calling his house so much, he eventually had to get the house number changed, okay? He finally takes her phone call and she wants to meet him. She wants to meet him because she wants to tell him that she's pregnant. Again, you would think he would tell his wife, hey, I got somebody pregnant. Nope. Still doesn't say anything. Alex is steady calling and calling and calling and calling. She calls so goddamn much that he has to change the home phone number. And when she finally couldn't get him on the phone, she shows up at his house. The wife answered the door. He didn't even know, okay? He was at work. He gets home from work. She's there. The wife's there. They're chatting it up like they're the best of friends. He's enraged. You'd think then he would tell his wife what is going on, and he still doesn't. It wasn't until she boiled that goddamn rabbit did he finally tell his wife what was going on. All right. Shit just gets crazier from there, okay? Eventually, Alex kidnaps the little girl. The mom gets in an accident trying to find the little girl. Alex eventually shows up at the house to kill the wife. Like, what? All because you wanted some outside coochie. I hope it was worth it. Moral of the story: you cannot have your cake and eat it too. The wife actually ends up killing her, and that is the end of the movie. Yeah. Wow. If you guys have watched the movie, let me know what you think in the comments. In my opinion, Alex wasn't completely wrong. In my opinion, she wasn't completely wrong. Like, true enough, she did not have to boil that girl's rabbit and kidnap her. But the other shit, I mean, maybe, right? I don't know. She totally poured acid on his car. I totally forgot about that. She poured acid on his car. And he still didn't tell his wife. But that's all I have for today, guys. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button on the way out. Let me know what you think of the movie in the comments. I made carrot cake cupcakes. Because of, right? All right. Thank you guys for tuning in to today's video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will definitely see you guys next time. Have a good one.